Hey everyone, Melissa here and welcome back to my channel. So today I have my March hip kit, killer kit and layout share. So I got the main kit, the embellishment kit and the paper add-on kit. That's normally what I get. Sometimes I'll get the colour kit, but this month I didn't. And I'm not sure why, but often I wish I got it. But anyway, that's what I had, and I'll quickly show you what I have left. So this kit was based on Heidi Swap storyline chapters, and I think there was a little bit of art walk in there as well, and also Paige Evans' Bloom Street. There's a little bit of that, and there was quite a lot of Pebbles Hey Hello, which I absolutely love. I loved all three actually. Yeah, so in terms of paper, bearing in mind that I got the paper add-on as well, you'll see there's just heaps of scraps that will probably all go into the recycling bin because, I don't know, maybe the bigger bits, not that that's particularly big. So there's all of that, and then one single sheet of paper which will go into my stash, and it's that beautiful piece of Hey Hello. So actually, I think I'll show you everything that's left on top of this. For the ephemera pieces, this is all that's left of the Hey Hello. I used quite a lot. There was a lot. So that is that. And then the Heidi Swap storyline chapters, I probably used about half of it. Some of these pieces I struggled to use, but yeah, you'll see what I've made and you'll see how I've used it. We'll save that till the end. This was the Pebbles stickers, so there were 6 sheets of stickers. These ones were really made towards card making, but I think I did a good job of using them. I used a lot of these. I used all of the flower clusters, most of the leaves, a lot of that, and not many of those because they were more, I think, for card making as well. So they will definitely go into my stash. All of the bows, I can't even show them because I used them all, which I was really, really happy about. And they're so beautiful. Actually, they're from Crepe Paper, the Magical Forest collection. The puffy dots from Pebbles, I used all of them except the black ones, so they'll go into my stash. I don't even know what was on there. That was possibly the bows, and I'm not sure what was on the other sheet. We'll see when we go through them. The Prima surfboards and crystals, I used a lot of them. That will also go into my stash. The Bloom Street, what are they, like foam words and elements, I used most of them. Probably because I wasn't really scrapping summer photos or spring photos, but that will go into my stash. Pebbles Hey Hello element sticker sheet. Yeah, I used a lot of that as well, and I just love these, and I'll definitely use all of that up, so that'll go into my stash. And then this, I think, is the most amazing thicker set I've ever used because you can colour them. And I think they might be part of the Vicky Bruton collection, but you can see I've used a lot of letters, not many numbers. As always, I have trouble with numbers. So yeah, also from last month's kit from Bloom Street, I added this set of stickers in, and I used up a lot of them as well. Not so much with the washi tape, but you know me, I struggle with washi. I love the idea of it, but I struggle to use it. So we all have something we struggle with, don't we? So let me get the layouts. Okay, so I made a total of 12 layouts and 4 Traveller's Notebook spreads, and we'll look at the Traveller's Notebook spreads in a sec. I think this actually might be in the reverse order, so this is the last one I made. So, sorry, you can hear Ava singing Frozen in the background. So this one is homeschool in bed during our lockdown. Azaria and Ava got in there with her, and I just fussy cut out the paper that had all the phrases on it, and then arranged them in rainbow order. This is a Heidi Swap cut apart, and Azaria loves sloths, and because she's in bed I thought it was perfect with the sloth. That's one of the bows I was mentioning from Crepe Paper. Oh, and the other, I'm realising now that piece of clear plastic had these beautiful Bloom Street butterflies, and I used all of them. So this is a piece of Heidi Swap paper, and I used it for my background. I did put some white gesso down, but you can hardly see it because I covered it all, and a few splatters and my journaling. So that is that one. This one, I really wanted to use up these labels and use some of the numbers as well. This one, I'm thinking, why am I thinking this is a scrap lift or a sketch? It is, and I can't remember, sorry. But yeah, that's an Easter one, and I was running out of letters, so I just called it favourite egg things. And then I asked Brielle from last year what she loved about Easter eggs, and these are some of the things that she mentioned, and I love that she said giving some to other people, sharing. So I did lots of stitching to add texture. I did pretty much all of the stitching before I stuck everything down, so it's like fake stitching, if you know what I mean. Some watercolour splatters, and I used a lot of Lindy's Gang Magicals from previous kits just to add some mixed media. I really got into mixed media using this kit, and most of the pages have got some on it. This one was using that beautiful Heidi Swap paper. Lots of people have used it like this as well. But I cut it apart, distressed it, and stuck it back together. I did think about stitching, but I just loved it looking like this. That's the order that it was in the paper, but it was separated with like a cream strip as well. This one I really focused on the Heidi Swap product and a little bit of the pebbles, of course the crepe paper bow. I don't think there's any Paige Evans Bloom Street on this layout. This is our friend's little girl when she was a baby, and we met her for the first time, and her name's Avery. And I just love how this one turned out. Just really pretty. I also focused on the who, when, where, what, and put my journaling underneath, and then added a little bit more as well. I did the packaging technique with some magicals and also some splattering. Okay. So that is that one. This one was based on, it's kind of a scrap lift, or I was inspired by Annette, who's on the Hip Kit Club design team, where she had used, I think it was the April kit, and she had placed 2 strips, and she'd gone embellished above one and below the other, but I just decided to do like 2 shelves and embellish above. I was also inspired by Sophie, who is so scrappy, also on the design team, who does lots of fussy cutting. So with this one, I fussy cut out a lot of the flowers. I think I'd used them on another layout, and I had some left over. This is Azaria's birthday last year, so I had to use a sloth again because she loves them, and then the balloons, of course, for her birthday. And then I put the 2 photos on and just embellished around and called it Hello 10. And you can see there that I coloured those thickers with some Lindy's Magicals. This one I don't love, but it's done. I think I don't like the background, so I made the background. I was playing around with, that's a Ranger Distress Oxide, and I'd seen Sue Plum do it. She's on the design team for Cocoa Vanilla as well, and I'd seen her use it on a live video, and I wanted to try the technique, so I did. And then I decided to use it for this layout. I added some gold splatters, and this is just Ava and a little bit of Brielle with an Instagram filter with butterflies on it, so I thought it was perfect to use this exclusive cut file. And I backed the cut file with some vellum and then just embellished quite simply, really. Put it on an angle, and I also stitched around it, so that is that one. This one was my Mother's Day layout. This is a photo from 2017. Of Brielle holding my hand at school pickup. I at first didn't like how this was looking because at this point I didn't really know how to use the magical so well. I've been watching Lauren Hender and Corey Jones, also on the Hip Kit Design Club team, and Hip Kit Design team, and I really learnt from them how to water down these magicals more. But anyway, it turned out fine because I managed to pull purple in. And then I've always wanted to do a layout that was entitled Put Your Little Hand in Mine, just to record my kids while they're little, but they still want to hold my hand. Sorry about that noise. That is something else that's going on, because, you know, whenever you want to film a live video, some noise has to happen in the background. So yeah, this one I think was a sketch from Lacey Ann Designs, and I just built a bit more clustering based on the sketch, and this was also on the sketch. So that is that one, and that is a beautiful, I think that might be the piece of Heidi Swap artwork that's in this kit. This is the first layout that I made, and this was a sketch, and I played along with a challenge at our Scrap at Home group that we had running through our lockdown. I called it Mask Madness, I guess like a play on March Madness. It wasn't March though, it was April. Yeah, and I used this beautiful Heidi Swap pattern paper for the background. Zaria wanted to make some masks because masks were a big thing during April, and so she made them, and I helped her with the sewing machine, and I took a couple of photos. She made one for Brielle, and yeah, this is a sketch, like I said, and I've just built, because I can't stick just to a sketch, I have to add to it, so I've put a lot more embellishment. I love the little pebbles stickers and things, and also the beautiful flower clusters, and I love that paper there. And yeah, added my journaling on that little Heidi Swap tag. So that's that one. I was going to say also Magicals in blue, same tone in the background, and some gold splatters. And of course I've coloured the letters as well. Sorry, that was Sam slamming the door. This one, actually no, this one might have been the first one I made. This one I played along with a sketch over at HipKit. It had circles and 4 elements, so I went for 3 photos, and for the 4th element I used this, I fussy cut this cut apart from Heidi Swap and journaled in it. I did use the Magicals again, and this is a cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict. I love how this one turned out. I don't particularly like this background paper, or this pattern paper, but it works so beautifully as a background. I added gesso. It's interesting, isn't it, how gesso changes your mixed media. So yeah, this is about Brielle and Ava in our lockdown. Azaria set up a little VIP table for them and gave them afternoon tea. It was really cute, so I called it Sweet Fun. This one is also a lockdown layout. One of our local TV reporter type celebrity public figures did this thing called Formal Friday, where she would dress up and post on Instagram, dressed up on a Friday, because we're all stuck at home, no one was getting dressed up. And so I did it once just to play along, chuck some makeup on, put a dress on, had a shower. I only did this for put this on, took the photo, and then got back in my trackies. And this here is let's see if I can show you. It's an exclusive cut file from HipKit, and I cut it in white. I cut it twice, painted it with pink acrylic paint, and then with the keys, you could cut the keys out. I cut them in Powell glitter paper, and I popped them up on foam dots just to give them some dimension. This is a cut apart from Heidi Swap that I put my journaling on. I added a bow, coffee cup to represent, working from home. And a lot of this is actually embellished with the Heidi Swap storyline chapters ephemera. And then I also actually went very full on with mixed media and did some stenciling. I think it was a Kaisercraft stencil, and did some Magicals over the top, and then just coloured those stickers to match, like the yellow or the gold and the pink. So that is that one, and that's also on a Heidi Swap pattern paper. This one was another it was a recipe challenge at HipKit, and I think you had to have stitching, fussy cutting, tags. So I, it said tags, not tags. So of course I had to do 2. I'm that kind of person. And a chipboard. I pulled the chipboard in from an old Felicity Jane kit from my stash, but everything else is from the kit. Yeah, and it was the pattern paper by Paige Evans that had love written on it, and I fussy cut it all out. It was all curled up, but it's been flat under these other layouts. I did, I was, I guess, inspired by Missy Whidden with a quad kind of layout, or a grid layout, and I used some of these Magicals. You can see where the gesso hasn't worked that well. You can tell where there's no gesso because it's sort of darker colour, but it doesn't matter. I'm the only one, I think, that will notice that. And then, yeah, I had 3 photos of Azaria's baptism, and then I put my journaling on the 4th part of the grid. So that's that one. This one actually won the competition at HipKit, and I got a $10 US gift voucher to the shop, so that was awesome. Put that towards next month, June's kits, because we're in June now. So yeah, we just ordered the June kits. This one, yeah, I guess I went rainbow and flower crazy on this one. I don't think this was based on a sketch. This was just me playing around. I realised I hadn't used much of this black and white paper, so I wanted to feature it. And so maybe this was a sketch. I can't even remember. Sorry, guys. So I featured it through the middle and then on the side as well. And then I just love the way the pink sort of ombre paper looked with it. And I'd fussy cut out a lot of these rainbows from the Heidi Swap paper and just placed them with the flowers. Used up 3 of the frames because you know me and frames, we're a bit like me and washi. I find them hard to use. I popped this one up on some craft foam, and this is Ava dressed as Anna, which she did the entire lockdown. I called her my everyday princess because she wore the Anna dress every single day, and then she'd get her blanket and make a cape, and so this is about the cape. I stuffed up my journaling, so I had to put it, I rescued the layout by cutting apart this cut apart with the Watt and just covered up my mistake, and then just put about her in the cape, embellished with some of the little elements from Pebbles. And yeah, I love how this the magicals turned out. On this one I mixed the pink and the gold together and got this beautiful kind of coral colour that matches the rainbows. So that is that one. This one is the final 12 by 12 that I made. Another lockdown one about Brielle, and we did fun hairstyles, doing high ponytails by using the couch to get them up high. This is an exclusive cut file. It's absolutely gorgeous from HipKit. And you could cut out, like there was separate tassels and pom-poms, so I cut extra pom-poms, watercoloured them, didn't put any gesso on, so I probably should have. You do definitely notice a difference. Popped them up on foam, popped the whole thing up, and then made a shaker pocket with my favourite Spiegelmom scraps mix, which is called Vintage Dowry, and I just love how that looks. And then embellished, and I used some of the Prima, the Prima gems, crystals, and some of the little puffy dots. And and then I needed to have this hanging off something because it didn't seem right just to be hanging midair. So I cut apart, this was actually I think it was a branding strip, and I had all the days of the week, which to me kind of represents that we didn't know what day it was. And so then I tied this on, and then I made a tag because I needed somewhere for my photo to hang as well. I needed something else to hang, and then added the bow, some flower clusters, the butterfly, and tied them on to this branding strip, which I I raised up with some craft foam. And I absolutely love how this one turned out. It just makes me so happy looking at this one. And then, for traveller's notebooks, and I'm sorry about my children. Actually, let's move these. I am so sorry about the noise in the background. Like I said, every time I want to film something live, this kind of thing goes on. So I made these traveller's notebooks for my kids, one each, last year. I think I made them all out of Cocoa Vanilla Studio products, and I never got around to sort of keeping up with this, and it was because 12 by 12 is my thing. I just love it so much, and I kind of neglected these, but then I thought I've got a lot of scraps left in this kit and I could make a bit more, so I started with Azaria's journal because she only had one layout in it. No, she had no layouts in it, which is terrible. So for this one, I'd had this piece of memorabilia, which was a note from her teacher saying how well she was doing last year. And I'd kept it because it's the kind of thing, it's not going to make it onto a 12 by 12, but it'd be good to put it in a traveller's notebook and still keep the memory. So with this one, I used the Magicals again. I featured that beautiful Pebbles paper because I love it with the birds and florals. And then just embellished. I find the smaller canvas quite hard, but I'm so happy with how this turned out. Put the journaling on the cut apart from the Heidi Swap paper. I'd cut it down to make it fit. That Let's Celebrate With You little thing was perfect. And then this one is her, one day she wasn't feeling well, and I thought she was faking having a sleep, so I took a couple of photos. And then I featured the sun paper, which I thought I'd never use, but it just looks so pretty on here. And I got to use the Fox from Pebbles, and this is the beautiful Paige Evans paper. And I just roughly cut 3 pieces of it, distressed the edges as always, and then embellished. I think I used my watercolours to get these with the packaging technique to sort of match the colours. So that's that one. So that, and here is what I did. I had some extra gold, and so I just put it on here. I know it'll work with whatever I use next. Also, I was outlining inspired by Lael Concar, who outlines all her Traveller's Notebook pages, and I think it helps tie the two together when they don't always match so well, or they're not like a full spread, if that makes sense. They're more like a double page joined together. And then Ava, I think, let's have a look at Ava's. Ava had a couple of spreads in here, but I'd already... I think because Brielle had more, and this kit wasn't really going to work for Sam because it's very girly. And saying that, I didn't make any layouts for Sam. I probably should have, and I could have, but what I had left was very girly. So I had this older photo of Ava sleeping on the couch. I used that beautiful stripe paper from Holy Swap, another piece of that Paige Evans, and because it all goes together with a kit, you don't really have to doubt or second guess. Use a little hedgehog and flowers, another little buzzy bee. It got you on my mind from the pebble stickers. Most of this side is Heidi Swap as well. You know, there's more of that sun paper. That Dreamer comes from the Paige Evans Bloom Street sticker book from last month. It was good to use up some things from there. A couple of ephemera pieces from Heidi Swap, and they just go with it really well. And actually, this may be the gold. I think I mixed this gold from Magicals. It's not a Heidi Swap one, and that's how I was able to put it into Azaria's book. So that is that one. This one, I haven't finished my journaling. I will. That's all that's missing. I'm not going to add any mixed media to this one, but this one was just... I found a photo to go with this Just You and Me pebble sticker because it was so sweet. Excuse me. And then this is that Paige Evans paper that I'd cut apart and rearranged. I had more of that left, so I thought it's perfect for a traveller's notebook. More of that gorgeous pebbles paper, a fussy cut rainbow, and then fussy cut flowers, and just a few other bits and pieces from the stickers and those Paige Evans puffy enamel kind of stickers. And then that's just a piece of paper that had lines on it, and I just cut a little piece to put my journaling on. So yeah, it's just about us doing some Instagram filters. So yeah, that's excuse me, pretty happy with what I got. 12 layouts and 4 Traveller's Notebook spreads. Doing these Traveller's Notebook spreads definitely got my mojo going for Traveller's Notebook spreads again, because they are so quick. I do struggle with the lack of dimension and having to keep everything flat. I know you can add dimension, but I just go out of control like I do on my layout. So it's quite good, yeah, to use up things that I didn't use. So I do have to decide whether I'm going to do Traveller's Notebooks for this year for them as well. But first of all, I need to finish off last year. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'm about to get started with my April kits, and I'm really excited. Thanks guys, I'll see you soon.